let's talk about the patient opportunity. And Leandro, I know we've talked about Brazil having this universal healthcare system. Can you give us a little more granularity on the private versus the public system and how this ultimately affects clinical trials?
I think that the characteristic we have here brings huge opportunity to clinical trials because we in fact have an universal health system defined by our constitution. So all the Brazilians are covered by this universal health system. We call here SUS, and it's a very good system to promotion and prevention. But it has important gaps regarding the hospital care. That's why an important part of our population wants to buy health insurance. And that's why Brazil is the second biggest market health insurance worldwide. We have 52 million consumers buying health insurance and paying every month to being able to access hospital and complexity care comparable to the North American or European facilities. So we have all this diversity economically and clinically because we have different patients from the public and the private sector. In the public sector, many of them, unfortunately, have huge lines to get treatment, and they will be very glad to see clinical trials as an opportunity to be treated. And in the private sector, that we have top-notch hospitals and top-notch quality in healthcare. We have how to access many different kinds of patients and many different phases of treatment to fit them to different clinical trials. So we have everything here in Brazil in a very friendly framework, in a very collaborative health system that is able to help a lot the clinical trials.
So, Patricio, as a practicing retina specialist, how important are clinical trials as a care pathway for many in Argentina and Latin America as a whole? And what would you also say what more needs to be done?
We tend to offer participating in a clinical trial to every single patient, whether private, whether public, whether with full access or with little or poor access. We offer them to be part of in a clinical trial. These days, the quality of the treatment that patients get in a clinical trial for wet AMD, for example, where the comparator is active with the number of injections they get, the amount of imaging, it's impossible to compete with a clinical trial, even from the best private insurance. One conversation that nobody have with the patients is, even if you have the greatest insurance, we know that, for example, for treatment of wet AMD, one major thing is how good you comply with your treatment. Your compliance with the treatment is a major thing. So in these studies, even if you have an insurance that covers for the top medication, your compliance is on you. You have to get the appointment, come to see me. While if I get you in a clinical trial, you will get either treatment A or B or whatever is being compared. You can rely that your compliance is going to be on me. It's going to be on the clinical trial. There's no way that you can beat that. We offer them transportation back and forth from home. Everything is covered regarding, while they wait in the clinic, all the treatments that they need. So for many patients, regardless of where they come from, it's great for them to be part in a clinical trial. It's a great opportunity for treatment for them to be part in a clinical trial. So what we could be doing more or better maybe is expanding, publicizing these a bit more. And we're getting better at that every day. We have a network of sites, but we also have a network of other doctors referring patients to us. So we may have patients in, little clinics in the countryside, or outside of the cities, or maybe even in clinics within the city that are not very well equipped. We do some sort of a pre-screening for them, which at the same time serves as a diagnosis, source of diagnosis for the patient. Patience is not a limitation here. We may have a limitation, for example, that we have the customs that we need to go through, but that is something that is getting better as well every day. Once you get your approval of your study, and that is something that you don't get in the US, for example. You do get that in Europe, but in the US, you don't get that because, studies are within the US, most of them. So once we are here, once the drug or whatever we need is here, we get rid of the customs issue and the whole region is open for any patient to be part in any clinical trial.
I know that we've talked about it's an aging population. That's where we're at. So we have to address that need. So, looking at the patient, like the data lake and the access model, Leandro, I know Fortrea and IDOR, we're working closely to provide an exciting site partnership opportunity in Latin America. So can you tell us more about IDOR's patient data lake and the access model and just how can sponsors benefit from that?
It's an honor to talk about it because we are very proud about this project. IDOR is the largest healthcare company in all Latin America. Okay, we have 12,000 hospital beds. We have 79 hospitals. We have 85 outpatient facilities. We have 69 oncological outpatient facilities. We treat more 10 million Brazilians every year, as I told you, in top-notch hospitals. We structured this company together with IDOR, an institute privately funded to do research, high-level research, and education. So we bring all the data from the patients that allow us. They need to authorize us, but the vast majority does that. And we bring all the data of this patient to anonymized data lake. So we have a huge bunch of information regarding thousands of in-hospital patients and outpatients treatments of all these patients. And in this data lake, we can do research and get many information that are needed to the CROs, for example, or for the industry to have insights and to answer their questions and to allow them to formulate better clinical trials to address real-world problems. And we are working together and we are very proud of what we are doing together with Fortrea. I think we can do much more, but I don't know any other institution that has this integrated model so broad, so vast, so big as IDOR has and IDOR operates.
And data metrics, data-driven strategies, it's very important. And we take that into consideration when we're developing strategies. And one of the things I'd like to just quickly make a note of is that we at Fortrea have actually seen the first half of this year, we have seen an increase of about 38% of the RFPs, the requests for proposals that we have gotten in from clients. They have included Latin America. And we, of course, are putting Latin America in our strategies because we do see the benefit of that. And of course, that's one of the reasons we wanted to have the webinar today.